Last May, my 8-year-old daughter moved her boxes back into her old childhood bedroom. My very first feeling was happiness. But right after came a very practical problem to solve. She had just left a house share in London because her rent was £740 a month, before bills leaving her with barely anything to live on. With her back home, the house is full and lively again. But along with that, the washing machine runs more often, the fridge empties much faster, and the energy bills started to creep up. We had to sit down and have a grown-up conversation. Who is going to pay for this extra cost? It turns out, our family is far from alone in this. According to a recent survey by NatWest, nearly a quarter of parents across the UK are currently welcoming their adult children back home. They're calling them the Boomerang Generation. But why is this happening so much right now? It comes down to a brutal reality of maths and the current UK housing market. The average UK house price is now over 8 times the average salary. In places like London and the Southeast, private rent can swallow up to half of a young person's take-home pay. The gap between entry-level wages and private rents has become a chasm. Moving back in with mum and dad isn't about a generation being lazy or failing to launch. It's a forced economic choice. The traditional path of renting a cheap place while saving for a deposit is fundamentally broken, but this return creates a brand new dynamic in the household. Around 60% of parents agree that asking adult children to contribute rent or board is an entirely reasonable thing to do. San. The practical impact. The second, why? Why charge them rent? In our house, we agreed on a figure, £300 a month. It wasn't based on the market rate for renting a room. It was a rough estimate of her share of the extra food, electricity, water, and council tax. She set up a standing order for the first of every month. But why charge her at all? Why not just let her stay for free? Firstly, it's about protecting our own future. For my husband and me, absorbing the living costs of another adult could seriously eat into the retirement savings we've worked decades to build. We simply cannot afford to subsidize her fully. And keeping this contribution ensures we don't fall out of pocket. Secondly, it's for her own good. A £300 contribution is significantly lower than the open rental market. It leaves her with enough surplus income to actually pay into her own pension and start saving for that property deposit. Plus, paying a set amount every month and helping with chores like cooking or taking the bins out maintains healthy adult boundaries and financial responsibility. Animation of a young man sitting at a laptop, confidently transferring money on a banking app, smiling at his mother who is holding a laundry basket. Interestingly, it's not always the parents doing the asking. Take my friend Sarah's son, Jack. He moved back to his parents' place after finishing his master's degree, before Sarah even had a chance to bring up the household bills. Jack offered to pay £250 a month. For many young adults like Jack, paying rent isn't a burden forced upon them. It's a point of pride. It's a way to show respect for their parents' home and to acknowledge that they are returning not as dependent children, but as self-sufficient adults. Even when parents are fortunate enough not to need the money and might secretly put it into a savings account for their child's future, the act of offering changes the whole dynamic for the better. Woo. How to have the conversation. If you are finding yourself in this situation, how do you actually bring it up without causing an argument? Financial experts suggest a few key steps. First, have the conversation early, ideally before the boxes are even unpacked. Set expectations from day one. Second, be transparent. Don't just demand a random number. Show them the actual utility bills and grocery receipts so they understand the real cost of running a home. And finally, frame it as a team effort. This isn't a landlord-tenant relationship. It's a family working together to beat the high cost of living. A timeline graphic. The milestone moving out used to be a straight line. Now, it branches into a curved path, passing through the family home as a safe stepping stone, zooming out across the UK. If you understand why this is happening, you see a massive shift in how we live. The family home is no longer just a place you grow up in and leave for good. Because of the current housing market, it has become a vital financial shock absorber. On average, young adults are staying for about 2 years. This isn't a step backward, it's a crucial stepping stone. Instead of struggling month to month with high living costs in the private rental sector, they have a safe space to find a better paying job, build a savings cushion, and prepare for a much more stable, long-term independence. Charging your adult kids rent might sound like a cold calculation at first, but when you understand the why behind it, it's actually a profound form of mutual support in a tough economy. It ensures that parents can protect their retirement, while giving the younger generation a firmer financial launchpad. It is, quite simply, how modern families are sharing the weight of the cost of living. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. How does your family handle sharing costs? Do you charge your adult kids rent? Or did you pay board when you moved back home? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more honest conversations about money, family, and modern life. Thanks for watching.
Calories in the only two exercises, 7 your staying with a Western bathing, subscribe to space.